surreal. 2021 was the first time I ever came to an ABLC event, so it's taking it all in. Before I got here, when I was honored by my colleagues to be able to speak in front of everyone here today, I said, so long as I don't have to follow Pat Gruber, I'll do really well going into this. And then with all that said, it's an honor to be here on the stage. Jim took a couple of my buzzwords away that I was going to use, Comstock Fuels, Chad Michael Black. Jim likes to call us Comet Stock, as he mentioned. But I want to tell you a little bit more about the foundation of the company. And hopefully here over this next 10 to 12 minutes, you can get a better understanding about our commercialization efforts and what it is that makes our process different than traditional cellulose or lignocellulosic fuel pathways. Part of a forward-looking statement, basically don't trade our stock based on what I tell you here today. My CEO will want me to say that. So first and foremost is about the foundation. Why should you listen to what I have to say? Why should you take any time to reference or look up Comstock Fuel as a whole? And it's about the team, the legacy of the team, and where we've been in our past that gives great credibility to what we're talking about here and implementing in the future. You know, our team most recently has been known as the inventors of DCO extraction technology that's utilized by 90 to 95% of the corn ethanol market today. It equates to about $3 billion of revenue to the corn ethanol industry. And the reason that's important, that was an underutilized waste material that our team was able to separate and convert into a higher value material. The same thing that we're doing with lignocellulosic biomass. So the team has a proven track record of taking TRL0 to TRL3 technologies and commercializing them not only to 6 and 7, but full commercial development and deployment. We've also engineered and commissioned 23 biorefineries over the last decade as well. So we have a track record. That's why you should listen to us. And a lot of us come from like or adjacent industries as well. You know, so we do have experience of commercialization. I think that's one thing that separates us from other technology partners. I will say I am in San Francisco, so I did dress as a technology expert. I have my Apple Watch on. I have my faceless shirt, right? So I'm trying to feed the part that we are a technology source. We want to enable everyone in this room today. So when I try to simplify 5 key points about Comstock Fuel, there's 5 things that I can ask you to take away from this meeting here today. The first one, our process accelerates the natural hydrocarbon forming process that Mother Nature has done over a millennia, right? Our process is able to extrapolate the carbon from the woody biomass, the feedstock. Our process accelerates that, and that is our value add. That is the difference that we make, and that's why our yields are so much higher than the nearest wood-to-fuel competitor. As most of you know, you've read the billion-ton report. You know what's coming in the works with the DOE, the RFS, the EPA, getting more allowable feedstocks to be utilized in our process. Waste wood material is something that a lot of people are focused on. You know, our technology can incorporate other wood-like grasses, bamboo. It all comes down to the lignin content, right? So there are short rotation crops that can be utilized in our process as well. You know, one thing we want to get across is we're highly scalable. There's essentially 4 steps in our process that are all commercially deployed to date, okay? So the front-end digestion is utilized in pulp and paper. That's step 1. One pathway is fermentation. That's ethanol, already deployed today. That's one path. The third part is esterification or fat splitting. It's utilized in a wide variety of industries. And the 4th step is hydrotreating, which all of the big oil and bin gas, both in renewable and petroleum, have been doing for decades. Best-in-class performance. Jim touched on it last night. What is it about our technology that not only allows us to utilize 100% of the material, but we do it in an effective manner to keep that CI score down? So from the woody biomass itself, as I walk you through how we fractionate, we generate about 125 GGE, gasoline gallon equivalents, per metric ton or long ton of feedstock material. And we do that at an extremely competitive CI score. So it's less than 15 on our final finished material. And that less than 15, that's a standard GREET model. Those are all baseline assumptions. So there's no green energy involved. I mean, this is just as simplified as it can get, and it still performs quite well. again, we want to reiterate, we want to leverage existing supply chains, right? We are a technology provider that wants to enable site developers, offtake partners, and feedstock sources to be able to take our technology and license it to the masses as our primary goal. So let me tell you a little bit about fractionation, right? Where do we get the additional GGE? Why are most technologies capped at 70 to 80 GGE per ton of input material? So the first part that we do, we separate the cellulose, typically traditionally 50% of the feedstock. One question most people have, again, what types of wood utilize for your process, both hard and soft woods. The lignin content will be variable. The process changes a little bit, but overall, any woody-like biomass. So cellulose fraction goes into pulp, which is later converted into sugar, as we all know, can be fermented into ethanol. And then you could use a wide variety of ETJ, ATJ technologies to be able to create sustainable aviation fuel. The second pathway, this is our unique claim to fame. It's a product we call Bioleum, okay? So we take the hemicellulose, we take the lignin fraction, and once combined with our solvent, it creates Bioleum, which is a unique blend of hydrocarbons that's further suitable for refining and for processing. And predominantly that lignin stream, that lignin pathway is that Bioleum pathway is roughly 65% SAF. There's a little bit of renewable gasoline and diesel in the stream as well. So if you look at the three core operating systems, you'll see this is off of a 1 million ton per year facility. Going in the left-hand column, the yellow column, that's the ethanol pathway, and you'll see two byproducts that come out of that as well. You'll see the crude Bioleum in green, and you'll see the CO2 gas in the fermentation step to create the ethanol. That pathway accommodates for about 45 million gallons of gas from a SAF perspective, and then as you look at crude Bioleum in the green middle column, it's blended with lipids. It typically a 1-to-1 ratio. We actually have it down to a 0.8-to-1 ratio lipid to Bioleum. So essentially, those renewable fuel refineries today, imagine your current feedstock constraint. Comstock's technologies can immediately double your throughput at your facility. So taking that through an esterification step, we now have Bioleum oil. At this point, it operates, it looks a lot like veg oil, right? It's about 18% oxygen, it's about a 15 TAN score, and that was our ultimate goal. We wanted a feedstock that the renewable fuel industry could recognize, something that they've already utilized regardless of its source origin, that they could drop in directly to a renewable fuel facility. What we found out with a little bit of hydrogen treatment, a little pre-treatment, we can actually now get down below 1% oxygen, which allows our product to be co-processed alongside petroleum, allowing a refinery not only to pick up the D3 credit from our woody biomass pathway, but also the credits involved with lipids as well. So that pathway, fully converted, you get about 150 million gallons per year. The third step we've recently added, we talked about it this week on our earnings call, but it's a company out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm from Oklahoma, so pretty excited to work with the guys at Emerging Fuels Technologies. They will be our GTL provider. So the bagasse and the CO2 that come from conversion in the two steps prior will be converted to predominantly SAF and naphtha at about 35 million gallons per year off of a 1 million input facility. So one point to note here, these facilities are highly modular. You start at about 250,000 tons as a base commercial facility, and then the CapEx starts to run in parallel from there on up. But 250,000 to a million is the ideal commercial facility. So total GGE per plant output, as you'll see there at the bottom, it's 230 GGE total. That's encompassing of 140 coming from the feedstock material and roughly 90 coming from the fats, oils, and greases. So where have we been the past 6 months? I get a lot of questions. I've met some of you here this week that's like, I've never heard of Comstock. It feels to some of you, even Jim might feel it's an overnight success, but it's over a decade in the making, right? That's how technology works. It takes a while to get us to where we need to be, but we're right exactly where we need to be at this time. So we went into the market July 1st of this year with the understanding that we were going to build, own, and operate our first commercial demonstration facility. And in addition to that, Comstock, Inc., our parent company, has committed to 3 1-million-ton facilities here in the United States as well. And roughly in about 30 days after going to market, we received our first $325 million term sheet at Comstock, Inc. Excited about that. That was earmarked $200 million for our commercial demonstration plant. Now, inside of that, the full development will be just shy of 700 million gallons of renewable fuel per year. And then shortly thereafter, about 30 days thereafter that, we signed our first international license agreement in Australia and New Zealand. There's 3 sites already identified in a pre-feed state there as well, and those facilities will generate a little under 300 million gallons per year. So we roughly have about a dozen sites here stateside, but we're constantly looking for more. So my key takeaway that I'll tell everyone here in this room today, if you're a site developer that's questioning your technology, please come talk to me. If you are a refinery that needs more feedstock, please come talk to me. If you want to know deep dive on the technical data, please talk to my engineering team, okay? So, but if you want to grab a beer at the bar and talk offtake and strategic investment, I'm definitely your guy. But Jim said it best. We are the world's largest cellulosic projects, and there's not even a close second. So we encourage you to find us. We want to enable growth in this industry. Thank you all.
Thank you.